Hello, Mr. Mick, helping my Java students with if statements, worksheet number 3. In exercise 1, I give you a lot of space. So apparently you need more space than you do for the other exercises. And all you have to do on any of these exercises is write an if statement. You don't have to write a whole class or a method, except for number 4, which is a method. So in number 1, I emphasize that you should probably study it closely, and anywhere you see the word display, you know that that's probably going to be a system out print statement. There are no return statements that would belong in number 1. And while we're at it, in exercise 2, you'll need to display something in number 3. But number 4, the operative word is return. You'll be returning a false or a true, since the method returns a Boolean value, and there is no word display here, so you will not want a system out print statement in your answer to number 4. Back up to number 1. Okay, well, it all needs to be framed around an if, else if, else if, else if structure. And in Java, the parentheses for an if statement or control expression are required. And else ifs come after the word if, further down the if statement itself. So we'll need at least one else if, because I practically told you in the exercise that you'll need that clause. The else if also needs a big fat set of parentheses, as I like to say. You may or may not need more else ifs, and you may or may not decide to add an else at the very end, which is optional, as you know from a previous course in Python. Okay, there are probably several ways to do this exercise. I'm not going to give you the full answer here in this video, but I always like to work from top down when it's a grading scale kind of thing. So I am most likely going to type in, when I implement this, if, in this case, the variable test score is greater than 90 or equal to, because in our school district, having a 90 or greater yields an A, and that's enough logic to handle, well, it does say 90 to 100. So maybe you want to say and test score is less than 100, less than or equal to 100. If it were possible to get over 100, you'd have to ask the person that's hiring you to do this exercise. You could possibly choose not to include that and clause. It's up to you to interpret this question as best you see fit. And we don't need that parenthesis over there that far away anymore, so I'm just going to erase it for the purpose of this worksheet and kind of put the parenthesis right in there. I require curly braces for my coding standards in this school, and even on worksheets, it's good style. You would not need the curly braces if you only have one body statement in the if clause, but I like them there. You do not need to indent in Java, unlike Python, but I insist that you indent. And what is it that happens if the variable test score is indeed a number like 95, greater than or equal to 90? Well, according to this, it should you're supposed to use some logic as a student and know that the letter A should print out. And you should know system out print, capital S, is spelled this way. I don't care if it's print or print ln, but you do need to put a capital A in double quotes to satisfy and get all the points for this exercise. Okay, else if. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Well, if you've cascaded and trickled down to the else if, that means you know that test score is not greater than or equal to 90. That must have been a false. So you could just start with and keep it simple by typing test score greater than or equal to 80. But it's up to you if you want to put in the Java AND operator and then say test score less than 90. That would technically be optional. So I'll try to change it to a different color here if that's even possible. Yep. Oops, I can't change all of it, so I will not mess around here. Sorry about this. My worksheet is backfiring on me. There we go. Oh, I made the background there. You can read it. So that would be a good answer for the else if. But we're not finished yet. You have a lot more work to do in exercise 1. You have a lot more system out prints, and you probably have some more else if clauses to satisfy the whole problem. In number 2, like the previous worksheet that this is similarly based on, you'll need a percent symbol 3 double equals 0 somewhere in your control expression. In number 4, you'll probably need an and symbol with testing to see if it's evenly divisible by 5 and 7 on both sides of the and. And while I don't have lecture notes easy to find for Visual Basic, now they're in Python. So look up prime number detection in Python lecture notes if you want help on number 4 for this worksheet. Good luck.